blossom, pixie dust on the wings of your shiny jet silver plane. Billowed sails, unfurl them and take you back to where I am right now, to where I am right now. In the dead of night, I will draw the blinds to keep out the light. Pour your bath, boil your tea, refill your cup endlessly. That's where I am right now. That's where I am right now. I don't mind standing here and killing time in the X-ray line to board your private airline in the sky. Whoa, private airline in the sky. Whoa, private airline. Watch you unfold like a paper crane. Reveal yourself, slowly call my name. Lay beside you till the morning comes. Still prevailing winds blow you safely home. That's where I am right now. That's where I am right now. I don't mind standing here and killing time in the X-ray line to board your private airline in the sky. Whoa, private airline in the sky. Whoa, private airline. Mr. Guitar Man.
It was a little town, and I was, one of like 3 punk rock kids in high school with mohawks, and other people like throwing shit from their pickup trucks at us and calling us a bunch of fucking homos and shit like that. But I thought it was cool.
Oh no.
Playing in bands, booking my own gigs, renting out the hall, making the flyers, borrowing a PA system, borrowing lights. but it doesn't come down this far.
This is so cool.
Andrew Griffin, Dara, Ackerman. Tell us a little bit about Felsen. You're the founder, leader, correct?
President of the organization.
The president of the organization.
You know, I'm making my living playing and teaching the drums and producing records for a long time. And writing, you know, but never with me as the vocalist. I was always writing for other people to sing.
Okay.
And co-writing with other people. And, about maybe 13 years ago, I got real sick with cancer, and as I was sort of recuperating from that, I decided to make a record. Because I didn't know if I was going to be around that much longer, and I had a newborn baby at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Everything at once.
Yeah, so I thought I would just make a record as potentially a document of my life, and mainly for my kid, so you could get to know my music, because I wasn't around it for him to get to know my music. And I was singing at the time, and I'm like, okay, she can sing that one, he can sing that one, I'll get her to sing that song, like all my friends. And even the people who played on the record, it was just like friends helping me out. And I played a lot of it myself, but then got some very, very talented people, friends to help me out. And
This was long before we knew each other.
This is about 12 years ago. And then I started to write about the things I was dealing with. I had a newborn baby and like life and death, health issues. So then I guess when I started writing about what I'd been through, I felt like I had to sing it. I had to learn how to sing.
Oh, because you weren't singing up until then.
No, not really. You know, I would sing like a little bit of background vocals on stage, or yeah, basically. And then it took about a year to make that record, and as the year was kind of going by, my health was starting to kind of slowly stabilize a little bit. It was great.
Were you going through chemo and radiation and all that when you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
7 surgeries and 36 months of chemotherapy and 6 weeks of radiation therapy, daily radiation therapy, so all of it. And it was a very hairy period of time. And I finished the record, and then I got a record deal.
Oh, wow.
With zero effort. It just fell into my lap. Met somebody who knew somebody. All the people I've known for a million years making music, it just got handed past.
Yeah.
A CDR made it to the desk of these people, and I got a record deal, and they encouraged me to put a band together.
Okay.
So that was really the beginning of it, and even literally the name was like an absolute last-minute decision. Graphic designer was laying out artwork for the record, and she's like, "Well, what are you going to call it?" I'm like, "I don't want to call it Andrew Griffin, because there's so many singer-songwriters." This felt like I always wanted to be the Beatles more than Elvis, even just my fantasy version of it, you know, which is a record or whatever. And then at the last minute, she's like, "All right, what are you going to call it? What are you going to call it?" Felsen. And that was it. I was living in Switzerland. I was making music over there, playing in a band, and we used to play at a bar called the Felsen Bar.
Oh,
And it was
interesting.
just a weird word that stuck in my head.
This is cool. Everything is sideways all of a sudden. Wow. Yowza. Oh my God.
We'll straighten things out, don't worry.
So, Felsen, isn't it something geologic?
Yeah, it means like rocks or boulders, like giant rocks. And I had no idea what the word meant. And about a year into Felsen, actually playing at the Estuary, there were these Austrian people there, like a group of Austrian tourists who just happened to wander in, and they like saw Felsen, and they're like, "Oh wow," fellow German-speaking people, and they came up, and they were probably like horribly disappointed with what we were providing. And they got to talking, and they said, "Do you even know what it means?" I'm like, "No, I don't." It means rocks. I'm like, well, that's kind of appropriate, because
You rock.
Felsen fucking rocks.
That's
So
right.
that's that.
That's true. Actually, I was just talking with a long-lost cousin. She's a geologist, and she said, oh, there's actually a category of rocks that are called felsic. Okay, yeah.
Fucking rocks. I'll just say that next time.
Yeah.
That was a fucking long explanation, wasn't it?
I wanna live culture kills machines and decent melodies will haunt you in your dreams. I won't laugh once again before I die. Do you think that you could try? Do you need a reason why? From the cradle to the amp to the grave, whose life tonight will be saved? If there's vultures on your bones, but they just won't leave you alone. They just won't leave you alone. Junk technology is the new mythology. I've written you a song if you'd like to sing along. Trust your feelings, they're not wrong. Once you hear it, then it's gone. From the cradle to the amp to the grave, whose life tonight will be saved. If there's vultures on your bones, but they just won't leave you alone. They just won't leave you alone. Got a lazy undertone. You can feel my tempo slow. Feel the windy tarmac blow. Like leaves on the breeze, beneath the rubble and debris. Broken glass, one of these. We're stardust, you and me. Just won't leave you alone.
with like what were the early influences?
Oh, I sold my soul to rock and roll a long, long time ago. Well, okay, I'm the youngest of 12 children.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
like the kid in Almost Famous. I like when my sister Teresa went off to college, I inherited a record collection.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of get my mind blown from a pretty early age. But I was into the Beatles, officially into the Beatles, when I was 6 years old. It's different when you're listening to your mom and dad's music in the car, or your brothers and sisters' music is just being played in the house. But it's different when you get your own, and you're like, okay, I'm putting the record on because I want to listen to this. You know, that was the Beatles, and I was having a really hard time learning to read when I was a really little kid. Like, I thought I was like dyslexic or some kind of learning disabilities, which I'm not convinced I'm not. I think there's a strong possibility that's there. But Sgt. Pepper's, like, that was the first record.
Ready about?
Ready?
Helmets down.
That means we're ready for this to happen.
Okay.
So it kind of means. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh.
Now you experienced that.
There we go.
So Sgt. Pepper.
Has the lyrics printed on the back. So the big sister said, well, you know, you could listen to music and read along. And then I got interested in reading, and I got interested in music, you know, at the same time. So I've been a lifelong reader and a lifelong music listener.
Oh, that's super cool.
Because of that record, probably. And for a little kid, that record is like a cartoon. You know, it's so colorful and beautiful and just ornate and lushly orchestrated. I was the only rock and roll musician in the family. All the other musicians were like classical musicians. In fact, one of the two professional musicians in our family, he plays in the Chicago Symphony, and I play in rock and roll bands. He's an amazing musician.
Were drums your first?
Yeah, I
instrument?
started on drums when I was
Ready about?
11.
Ready. 11, cool. Taking lessons or just banging on
I
things?
played in a drum and bugle corps. I was sort of a problem child, so my parents sent me away to military school.
Oh wow! You're also the 12th one. They're like,
Yeah.
I really want to discipline another kid.
Yeah, no, they were kind of done by the time
Right.
I came along. My older brothers went to this same military academy, but they had actual instrumental abilities, playing like trombones and horns and things like that.
Okay.
I didn't have any musical ability. They're like, you should join the drum and bugle corps. It's fun. I'm like, well, I can't play a bugle. I don't know how to do that stuff. They're like, they'll put you on a drum.
Okay.
You don't have to have any abilities. I'm like, perfect.
But you loved it. You took to it.
I
Obviously.
did, yeah. It was really fun. It's kind of like the Suzuki method. Like, there's no reading involved. It just like you just had to memorize these little drum cadences, and then maybe a year later, I got booted out of one school, and I went to another school. And when I was the new kid in the school, the rumor was like, "Oh, he's a drummer." So then a friend asked me, he's like, "Hey, I heard you're a drummer. I got a band. You want to join my band?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a drummer." Fine. So I joined his band. I never played a drum set before. This is maybe one miracle in my whole life. Is that the first time we ever got together, I went into the very first day of rehearsal and I just sat down and I played the basic rock beat. That's 3 limbs.
That's amazing.
I mean, I've been teaching drums for 21 years and I've never seen a kid just walk in and go, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap. That's what I did. I'm like, got it.
And then
Yeah.
you joined that band. They're like, cool, you're in the band.
Yeah.
And
We were
then-
called Merge. Have you ever heard of us? We played Louie Louie, Moni Moni, Wooly Bully. All that old stuff.
Anyway, you were like
Gloria,
11, 12,
13,
13.
8th grade.
Right, okay.
Ready about?
Ready. And then when did the punk rock start?
The punk rock, that kicked in about 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like punk rock light at first. With U2 and the Flock of Seagulls and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And then by 11th grade it was like the Dead Kennedys and Black
Okay.
Flag. And then I was in a punk band at that point. And we were like hugely influenced by the Misfits and Black Flag and 7 Seconds. And I did that for about 4 years, toured all over the Midwest with those guys. And then I started writing songs when I was about 19. I had a roommate in college who had an acoustic guitar, and I just played it and got more interested in that. And the songs I was writing were not hardcore punk songs; they were more like Beatle-y, which is kind of where I started as a little kid. And then I kind of phased out of the punk thing and started putting bands together where I was writing songs as a drummer, which is a weird combination. Again, with always for somebody else to sing. It was never really like an intention, like I have to write my own song. It wasn't like that. It was like let's write our own songs. And nobody else was sort of stepping up to do it. I'm like, well, motherfucker, I'll do it then if you're not going to do it. So I tried that approach. I made maybe 3 very, very valiant attempts to make that model work, which was the songwriting drummer, you know.
Right.
And even with like a record deal at one point and like people backing us with money and like really talented people. For me, maybe I wasn't the right personality type, or I always felt like it just sort of bred sort of like a weird codependence. And with the singers I worked with, I think at some point they just got sick of like singing my words. They wanted to have their own words they say, which I completely agree with, but they didn't have anything to say, you know? I've been in many bands over the years where I would play drums and like sing a little bit of background vocals, and maybe like for shits and giggles the lead guy would say, hey, why don't you sing a song, you know? But I've never really done a band where I'm singing and playing drums. You know what it was? I felt tethered to the drum set. That's a big part of my shtick in Felsen, is that I'm totally not tethered. I can go out and connect with people in the audience. Do you remember the Red Devil Lounge?
Yeah. Like the Red Devil with that pole.
That was like one of the very first big gigs that Felsen got. Jay Segan was kind enough to book us there a bunch of times. That was a great stage because it was up, but it wasn't so high.
Right.
And it was up on that little stage. And I remember I just reached out and I grabbed somebody's hand. And I was singing the song. The song is called Accidental Drowning. The chorus of the song is I Need a Hand to Hold On To.
Oh.
And I reached out and I just took this person's hand and I just started singing. And I felt like that was like kind of like a turning moment for me.
Was that the first Felsen album? Was that the one that was the back?
That was the name of the album, was Accidental Drowning.
Yeah.
That was about all my cancer experience and having a kid and stuff.
I wonder if singing Accidental Drowning on
I don't know, we should mess with the fates.
I suppose that when you're wearing a dead man's clothes, you know the thought within me grows. Am I invisible today? A shadow or a ghost of myself? Alcohol doesn't seem to help at all. You see, I'm backed up against the wall, and I'm looking for an exit, a door that leads me in from the dark of where I've been. I'd like to lay down beside you. Please don't come along and shake me. I'm in a cold sweat now, so don't try and wake me. Nothing in this world gonna save me. Like water fit for babies, try and save me. My wife and child slumber deep, but all the while I'm wide awake, but my teeth are filed. If I smile, you know I fake it. I'm lonely where I've been. I'm about to just cave in. I'd like to lay down beside you. Please don't come along and shake me. I'm in a cold sweat now, so don't try and wake me. Nothing in this world gonna save me. Like water fit for babies.
That's great.
Dara came into the fold in 2013.
End of 2013? Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys connect?
We have a mutual friend, Scarth Locke.
Okay.
Scarth, he's a very talented singer-songwriter himself.
So I lived in India for a long time with Scarth
Where part of India?
and another friend of ours named Mark. We were in the exile capital in Dharamsala. And we built and ran a community cafe, giant restaurant worked with Tibetan refugees. And we had this whole adventure for 7 years. Yeah. And then Scarth came back to the States before me and Mark, and he decided, okay, I'm going to make a go of my music. We're all singer-songwriters, all three of us. And he made his first album. And then he started a band. And then we moved back to the States. And eventually, after a while, there was some moving back to India and then moving back again. And then I joined Scarth's band. And then I was singing in Scarth's band, and Andrew was the drummer. And then Andrew kept inviting us to these Felsen shows. So I decided to go. That was the one at the Brick and Mortar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, what is going on here? There was something very unusual about this band, like planting your microphone stand in the middle of the audience and just singing right into people's faces, and the other bandmates had really awesome, amazing, kind of quirky personalities that were just flying
Was
on
this
stage.
original lineup? A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a few people over the years. It's hard to keep a band together. That was sort of like Felsen 2.0, and I guess I meant sort of Felsen 3.0 now.
Okay.
Actually, I was at the Red Devil Lounge, and that's my first gig I did with Felsen, because as they were getting ready to close, they had a Talking Heads night. So a bunch of bands played Talking Heads songs, and Andrew called me up and said, hey, we're going to sing Heaven by Talking Heads. Would you like to do the harmony? I was like, are you kidding me? That's my favorite song.
What a beautiful song to sing. Heaven is the name of a bar.
So then I had my own band. So I asked Andrew and Scarth's bassist, Peter, who
is a dear friend of mine who played on a lot of the Felsen albums. He's all over all these records. Peter Canton.
So the three of them agreed to back me. And for a while, I was opening for Scarth with some of my songs, and then we would all switch hats and back Scarth.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then
it was one big happy family.
It was, and Scarth and I have friends in Portland. We decided to do a little tour. I was getting ready for my album release, and I needed to practice.
Kind of thing?
So yeah, I organized this tour, and the three of us all went together. We all played. So Scarth Locke, Felsen, and Dara Ackerman shared a bill. Oh, that's right. Felsen happened to have had a gig.
We had a gig the night before in Portland, and he said, Dara, why don't you do this gig with us? So we worked up maybe 10 tunes that you could do.
Yeah.
And that show was okay. It was like a blizzard. It was super cold, and we barely got to the venue at 8:50, and we're supposed to be on stage at 9 p.m.
Oh, God, yeah.
After 11 hours of drive. It was kind of crazy.
There were 2 people in there.
Yeah. It
But you
wasn't
got there in time. You did the gig.
Totally. And then the following night was really cool. It was like this beautiful kind of dedicated house concert venue, and all 3 acts played. Scarth and then Dara played a set, and then Felsen went on and did it. That was a great gig, and the audience was really with us, and we let Dara out of her crate that night.
It's true. It's true.
You started.
Well, I just noticed how wild it was getting. I just didn't realize the potential that Felsen had at that point for wildness. But people were throwing their clothes off. It kind of seemed like people were going to start getting naked. It was that wild. And something happened to me. I started dancing like a wild banshee.
You're pretty,
go-go dancer.
Yeah, the first.
You're very
whatever.
banshee. You're more banshee than go-go. You're like banshee go-go.
Oh, banshee go-go.
Yeah.
Ready about?
Ready.
The intelligent go-go.
Okay.
It's banshee. The intelligent go-go.
That sounds like a publication.
The intelligent go-go. That might be the other all-girls thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that'll be the boys.
No, the first gig we did, the little thing at the Red Devil Lounge, the Talking Heads thing, you were more like just a traditional background vocalist, just standing there and supporting the song. I like that. I like that it's kind of a free-for-all on stage, and I like the animated personalities of people within my band, and I think that's real cool. One of my personal things is that I feel like a lot of people do not tap into the possibility that rock and roll can be very theatrical and very fun in that regard. I never felt like my songs were good enough or I was a good enough singer just to stand on stage and just charm people with my brilliance. You know? And then I got it more into the fun aspect of it too, and it is a show. There really was no ulterior motive. It was just that it was fun for me, and that was the personality that I wanted to be on stage.
But also, I feel like on your punk rock roots show.
I like that. I feel like it's an opportunity lost for some people when they're out there. You got to find who you are, and sort of amplify that guy, you know.
Guy waving his sign at the XXX door. Business is slow, they say at the door. Lost in the desert, of course you'll look twice. Found in the desert, you better play nice. You can stay all night long. You can look but don't touch. Yeah, I like you, but don't get me wrong. I don't wanna like you too much. Not everyone's a friend, some have no time. For a woman in charge, nothing is fine. Lost in the desert with a bunch of snakes. Found in the desert, what does that take? You can stay all night long. You can look but don't touch. Yeah, I like you, but don't get me wrong. I don't wanna like you too much. Life drops you harder. This kind of place. See these marks in the sand. Some things time won't ever erase. Fiddle has no string, dog has no bark. Talk all you want, it's already dark. Lost in the desert, cause the stars mean everything. Found in the desert as a whole other ring. You can stay all night long. You can look but don't touch. Yeah, I like you, but don't get me wrong. I wanna like you too much. You can stay all night long. You can look but don't touch. Yeah, I like you, but don't get me wrong. I wanna like you too much.
Oh, you had to go and ruin it.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't get that one line.
Tomorrow's the day my bride's come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Ooh, we ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Down in the easy chair.
Yeah, high five. Boom. Fucking crushed that one.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. Give me something.
Well, this has been an awesome evening, afternoon with
Thanks
Dara
you guys.
Ackerman, Andrew Griffin, a.k.a. Felsen,
Deborah Crooks.
Kwame Copeland.
We're Bay Station. Thanks very much.